Right, this morning on newspaper headlines, we'll be taking stories from the Punch newspaper. We'll also take a few stories from The Guardian. We have The Nation and Alausa Alert to look into as well. All right, then, so let's begin with The Punch. Our first story here reads, a motorist seek extension of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway street lights. And motorists plying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Thursday commended the federal government for the installation of street lights on the Long Bridge area and called for the extension to all the sections of the expressway. The paper's correspondent who monitored the ongoing installation of the street lights along the Kara-Wariwa stretch of the Long Bridge observed that some street lights had been installed within a stretch. At the same time, the installation was ongoing from the Long Bridge axis inward Kara. So that's our first story from The Punch. Moving on, still from The Punch newspaper, IG Hills cop for rejecting 4 million naira bribe, drug peddlers nabbed. The Inspector General of Police, Kaide Egbetokun, on Thursday commended SP Rilwan Kasumu and his team in the Area K Larubu of the Lagos State Police Command for rejecting 4 million naira bribe offered to them while investigating a case of alleged drug peddling and unlawful possession of ammunition against a suspected drug peddler, Esther Newman, female, 42 years, aka Candy, of number 6, Wajirade Street, Ilogbo, Lagos, on February 6. The officers subsequently arrested Esther Akete and Oke Balam, who attempted to bribe the police for the suspected drug peddler's release. So you can read more on that story. It's from The Punch newspaper. NNPCL board approves dollar revenue transfer to CBN. I beg your pardon. The CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, has created a department to deal with crude oil sales transactions by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The Group Chief Executive Officer NNPCL, Mele Kyari, announced on Thursday. Kyari also revealed that the Board of Directors of NNPCL had approved the decision to move significant portions of the company's revenues to the Apex Bank. This came as the national oil major declared that there was no imminent hike in the pump price of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol. Another story here reads, 14-day strike notice, FG Labour differ on aborted peace deal. The federal government on Thursday disagreed with the organized labour on its threat to declare a nationwide strike in the next 14 days over the alleged failure of the government to implement the Memorandum of Understanding reached with the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress in October 2023. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in an interview with The Punch, asked the unions to exercise restraint and allow the government to address their grievances. Don't come back. South Africans threaten Super Eagles goalkeeper Wabali. And Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Wabali, who plays for Chippa United in South Africa, has reportedly received threats from South African fans following his standout performance against the country. The South African fans reportedly warned him against returning to his club after the African former Super Eagles international Ida Peterside revealed the threat while speaking on Channels Television on Thursday, stating that some fans have warned Wabali not to go back to Chippa United in South Africa after the African tournament. And tragic loss, still from The Punch newspaper. This is going to be our last story from The Punch. Tragic loss. Super Eagles mourn fans' deaths during African semi-finals. Super Eagles of Nigeria on Thursday mourned its fans who died during the semi-finals of the ongoing African Cup of Nations. And no less than 5 persons had died while watching the match between Super Eagles and Bafana Bafana of South Africa on Wednesday. The Super Eagles, while mourning the fans via its ex-handle, wrote, and I quote, during our semi-final match, we tragically lost few supporters, end of quote. So let's talk about what we have on The Guardian newspaper briefly. Our first story from The Guardian, Fashola wants construction review to allow states to determine minimum wage. Fashola wants constitution review to allow states to determine minimum wage. Former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, yesterday stressed the need for states to decide their own minimum wage, saying it was important for wages to move from the exclusive to concurrent list. He noted that it was important to rationalize the wages, should not be uniform if resources and cost of living are not uniform. So you can read that story properly from The Guardian. This one here reads that women farmers deny receiving 15 trillion naira agric intervention. Now, Nigerian Women for Agriculture Progress has said that most verified women farmers are yet to receive the 15 trillion naira intervention in the agricultural sector that was promised since 1999. The farmers claim few women who received them were portfolio farmers with no farmland. Okay, so I have this one here from The Nation. Let's run through it before we connect with Alausa Alad. House wants uniform for security agencies made locally. Another story here to read. The House of Representatives has asked the federal government to ensure that all security agencies in the country use Nigerian textiles as the uniforms. The Green Chamber said this will boost efforts to revive the nation's textile industry and create jobs. Adopting a motion by Esosa Yawi LP Edo, the House said members of the armed forces, the Nigerian Police Force NPF, the Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS, National Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC, the Nigerian Immigration Service NIS, the Nigeria Customs Service NCS, the Federal Fire Service FFS, and other uniformed government organizations should patronize Nigerian-made textiles. And lastly, from Alasa Alat, Lasra advises residents on lag ID cards. Let's talk about it briefly. All right, Lagos residents have been advised to visit different registration outlets spread across the 57 local government and local council development areas in the state to register and validate, as the case may be. General Manager, Lagos State Residents Registration Agency, LASRA, Mrs. Bilakis Adebi Apiola, disclosed this at a media parley held at the agency's headquarters in Ikeja. Emphasizing the need for every resident to get on board the scheme, Adebi Apiola explained that the resident registration scheme, which began in 2013, was revamped for better service with the introduction of the Smart Card, a project tagged LASRA 2.0, which was approved in 2019. So you can read the rest of that story from Alausa Alert this Friday morning. So that's how much we can take on News Super Headlines. I'll be handing you over to Victor Terry for the rest of the program. But don't forget, you can connect with us via any of our channels. Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. You can stream the program live on Facebook, on X at Lagos Traffic 961. And then on YouTube, yes, connect with us on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961.